Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus A330 pilot and welcome back to the InnyBuild A330 in Flight Simulator 2024. Today we are flying a version of the plane that we haven't flown in a while. That's the A330-300 with GE engines. So let's get straight into this after a quick message from today's sponsor. If you're looking for an ATC add-on that can not just do your standard IFR A to B flight but also other things like data link, and even a cabin crew simulation, then look no further than Say Intentions AI. We'll be using them throughout the entire flight today, so if you like what you see, then check them out using the link in the pinned comment or the video description below. And now, let's get straight into this by checking our flight plan. And this is what it looks like. So we are departing Amsterdam, heading across the south of the UK, right across London, and then all across the Atlantic to our destination in Aruba. Now, the significant weather chart for our departure looks very good. We are just crossing a jet stream over here, which might cause a little bit of turbulence. Then we've got a small area of CBs en route, and finally we are crossing that last area that includes Hurricane Irene before setting course for our landing in Aruba. Now, the airport weather itself is also not looking too shabby. We are looking at 32 degrees at the moment, and generally we are expecting easterly winds, suggesting runway 11 to be in use. Now, our first alternate in Bonaire is actually not just the first alternate, but also the destination of the next flight. So the real-world flight that we're operating today is actually a triangle from Amsterdam to Aruba, and then on to Bonaire, and then back to Amsterdam. So it is only logical that we're using Bonaire as our alternate. Alright, now, with that out of the way, we know that the weather is pretty much good everywhere. Let's go ahead and have a look at the rest of our flight plan. An on-time departure is going to result in an on-time arrival. You can see I've already taken 25 minutes of taxi time into consideration here, since we are using runway 36 left in Schiphol at the moment. Now, in terms of the weights, we are not critical with anything. 226 tons of takeoff weight are expected. And now going down to the fuel section, we can see that our minimum takeoff fuel is 64.7 plus taxi, which is 700 in today's case. And we can see that there actually is some ETOPS fuel included in the flight plan. Now, what is ETOPS fuel? Basically, we are looking at the most critical point. That's the equal time point number 2 over here between Lajes and the Caribbean. And if we would experience a decompression and an engine failure at this very point, then we would have to fly for almost 3 hours in level 100 on a single engine to our en route alternate. And that would use a lot more fuel than we would normally have on board the airplane. For this reason, they do plan for us to use ETOPS fuel, which are those 1,207 kilos that we have over here. Now, with that in mind, for our fuel planning, we don't really have any reason to take any extra fuel today, and we already have the ETOPS fuel that is effectively going to be extra fuel at the end of the day. So for this reason, I will just keep it exactly the way it is, and we are just going to round it up to the next thousands. So let's take 66 tons of fuel for today's flight. Alright, and with that out of the way, let's get straight into the flight deck of our Airbus A330 and start preparing our plane for today's service. So, we'll start with a preliminary cockpit preparation. That's all engine master levers in the off position, engine start selector norm. Weather radar is off and off. Okay, the landing gear lever is down and the wipers are off. Battery voltage is above 25.5 on each side, so let's go ahead and turn on the batteries and also turn on the external power. Now let's quickly go over into the electronic flight bag and download our SimBrief data in here, and then we can head down to the payload page, download SimBrief data. And why on earth is this in pounds? Alright, no, we are not flying in pounds today. So units, metric, thank you. Okay, so this is a lot better, isn't it? So once again, let's download the SimBrief data. Fuel, we want to take 66 tons. Okay, and apply.
Runway
Now
awareness.
we are going to do instant loadout over here.
Meters.
And that's it. Now the fuel is on board, lovely, and then we can order GSX to start the boarding, please. While that's in progress, let's head further down into the takeoff page. We have runway 36 left with a full length. It's a dry wind. We're going to synchronize the weather over here. Takeoff rate, now let's calculate 227 tons to be conservative here. Conf 2, air conditioning off, calculate. And that gives us even a small flex temperature here, takeoff speeds are okay, and performance limiting weight 250.9. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's grab our charts. So Amsterdam, we'll start with the airport charts down here, and we'll need the AGC East, as well as the AGC West. And then I also want the parking charts. So, apron AR, that does not sound like the one we need. APC main terminal, that's it. That's ours. Now, for the departures, we're going off 36 left, so let's pin both SID charts. And now let's have a look at what we have just created. So, we'll need the AGC West initially here, and that has a couple frequencies on here. Starting with delivery on 121.980. So 121.98, that's active, and we'll turn that up a little bit. Then on VHF2 we're going to choose 121.5, the emergency frequency, and that is now also active. So VHF1, VHF2, and the interphone comes on as well. Then let's go ahead and dial up the speaker so that we can actually hear something. Like this. Beautiful. Alright, cool. With that done, up to the overhead. APU fire test. Looking good. ADIRS. All in nav. And since it's pretty hot outside, I am going to start up the APU so that we get some air conditioning going. So, cockpit lights are set. Basically not needed. The EFB is already done. Then let's do our aircraft acceptance. Recall. Press and hold for 3 seconds. And that is looking excellent. Nothing in there. We've got nothing in the logbook. It's an A330 300 with General Electric engines. Automatic nav and go around is installed. And in terms of the OEBs, we've got 3 of them. Wing brake vertical profile during non-precision approaches, pack flow monitoring, and cabin pressure access cabin altitude. Alright, so aircraft is accepted for flight. Then let's have a very quick look down at the ECAM. Starting here on the door page, the oxygen pressure is fine, hydraulic page, quantities are fine. Now we gotta go for the engine oil. Turn on the FADEC, and engine oil quantities are fine. Alright, good. So the flaps are retracted, that agrees with the lever, ground spoilers are retracted. Let's test the alternate brakes, so park and brake release. Slam the brake pedals, and the pressure is looking good. Lovely. Alright, and park and brake set again. APU should be here any moment now, that's excellent. And here it is, APU available. And APU bleed is coming online. Lovely. Alright, cool. So now that the preliminary pre-flight procedure is done, let's start with the pre-flight procedure. Flight recorder ground control on, oxygen supply on, evacuation switch on captain, and white lights out. In the middle, the lights are coming on, seatbelts coming on, no smoking, and emergency lights. Then we can test the batteries. So turn them off and on again. Down onto the ECAM, ALAC DC page, and we can see them charging just fine. Perfect. So back to the overhead. Since fueling is complete, we can turn on the fuel pumps, like this. Engine fire test, it's looking good, and nothing on the maintenance panel. On the right hand side here, everything's good. We just want to be sure that we've got the PA up, like this. Voice recorder test not simulated, reset switches are all in. Moving forward to the main panel then, the QNH is 1024, as we can see down here. Set once and set twice. So it's the 15th of August 25. Everything's set. Frequencies are also set, and then ground control switch on, weather and turbulence selected, gain is calibrated. That looks good. The middle is set, the right side is set. Then we can head straight into our FMS. So for this, let's get out our flight plan. And then FMS 1. A330 300 CF6 engines, and the nav database is up to date. Scratchpad messages are checked. So init request. Amsterdam to Aruba, alternate Bonaire, KLM 767, cost A330, flight level 360. That looks so far so correct. So, flight plan, Amsterdam, departure, off runway 36 left. We got the Vola 3 Victor departure. Down here, and insert. So, let's have a look. Here we go, here it is. So we climb straight ahead towards left key, then a left turn Alpha Mike 094, and then a left turn Alpha Mike 090, followed by Barcy, and then via Vola to Idrid. That seems fairly easy. Let's have a look at the procedural description. It seems to be a couple pages here. There it was. Vola 3 Victor, initial climb flight level 60, and all the rest in here is checked already. Alright, 60 is set. Now, for the arrival in Aruba, we do plan runway 11 with an ILS. Our star is going to be the Scapa 2 Alpha. And that's this one. Approach via, let's see. Doesn't look like we need any, huh? Nope. Okay, insert. Good, so let's zoom out a little bit and have a look through our plan on the fixed page. So that looks like what we saw on the star. Now let's scroll through all of this to be sure that all our routing is correct. And that indeed looks very good. Well, let's go for the transatlantic waypoints. So we start at Throttle, thereafter 49 north and 20 west, and those coordinates are checked. Then we've got 44 north, 30 west, that's also checked, followed by 38 north, 40 west, also checked, 35 north, 45 west, also checked. Okay, 31 north, 50 west, checked, and 27 north, 55 west, also checked. And Kabax. So that looks pretty good. Ground distance 4,309 versus 4,313. Alright, so secondary flight plan. Let's go for this one. And well, since I just recently had a wasn't crash with that one, I am going to leave it as it is. But what we'll do is to go to the fix info and select Amsterdam 36 left. And now we need our runway track. Which is 002. So I'm just going to draw this extended center line over here. Okay, good. So let's go to the fix info page. So fuel weight 161.1. CG 25, 66 tons of fuel. We've got an average headwind of 5 knots. Then let's go for the fuel section. Taxi is 0.7. Route reserve is 1.8. So alternate 2.6 and final 2.4. Okay, that looks good for now. Then let's go back to the flatbone page, find our top of climb, and behind that let's enter the step altitudes. So at Leslie, flight level 360, Mach point 82, then at 38 north, 40 west, flight level 380. So that's going to be 38N040W. Oh god, and this thing needs it in the other direction. So, 38N040W/380. What's wrong now? What's the name of that waypoint? Okay, it inserted it in a different format than what we have on the flight plan. That's always very helpful, isn't it? So at 3840 north, we step to flight level 380, and at 2755 north, flight level 400. All right, cool. So that's both our step climbs entered. We don't have any constant Mach function in here, unfortunately, so we just got to keep it that way. Then let's go over to the winds, do the wind data request. And now let's see what our extra fuel says. Minus 1.6. I don't quite trust that, to be honest. So Amsterdam 36 left. And now let's go for the performance figures. And that's gonna be config 2, 40 degrees. And takeoff speeds 59, 63, 66. Alright, noise abatement procedure number 2, so we'll do 1000 and 1000, and engine out acceleration 1500, like this, derate climb 1, like this, and that's it. So let's finish with the FCU setup, like this, and then we are done. Now flight deck, mind your ears, oxygen test. Well, should work a little different in the real world, but it's gonna be fine this way. Alright, cool. So, with that out of the way, I suggest we are going to do our departure briefing now. So, departing Amsterdam Schiphol, off runway 36 left, Vola 3 Victor departure, initial to 6000, MSA 2000, and extra fuel and time. We've got, well, around 500 kilos. Doesn't really give us anything meaningful. Thanks for that. No hotspots for our taxi routing, but there is a runway crossing in between, so a little careful when we do that we actually have to cross that runway. Now, stop margin for today's takeoff is going to be just a couple of meters, but if we do decide to continue, we fly on the runway track for 25 miles to the emergency point down here. Now, if we need to make an immediate return, 3610 is in use. We are above a maximum landing weight, so do the overweight landing procedure and then we can come back. If something happens where we cannot extinguish any fire or anything that's really, really nasty and threatening the aircraft, then we can always do an immediate return. We are below the maximum, or well, we are above the maximum landing weight, but we should be totally fine in terms of the runway length available. So overweight landing procedure. We can cut that short, start the APU, get the APU bleed going, and that's basically all we need. Okay, do you have questions or suggestions to that? No? Lovely, then let's do the cockpit preparation checklist, please. Gear pins covers, removed. Fuel quantity, 65,960 kilograms balanced. Seatbelts, on. ADIRS. nav. And barrel ref, QNH, lagging. 1024. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Fine, then let's continue with the not HLA guideline. So, for the aircraft acceptance, ETOPS PDSC checked, RVSM equipment checked, clock and GPS mode checked, HF checked, message log erased, ADSC armed, ATC auto position report off, RS full align performed, ground speed 0, not HLA waypoints on OFP versus prime flight plan cross checked, wind data NOT, and that's the not HLA guideline complete down to oceanic entry. Okay, so what's GSX doing? Boarding completed. Fine, then prepare for pushback and departure, please. Guten Morgen, mesdames et messieurs, from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of KLM, I would like to welcome you aboard our Airbus A330-300 on our flight to Aruba and Bonaire. Today's flight time on this first sector will be 9 hours and 30 minutes, expecting a smooth flight, starting in about 11,000 meters, later up to 12,000 meters of altitude. For the time being, sit back, relax, make yourself comfortable, and we'll get back to you with the latest weather when we start our approach into our destination airport. Thank you very much, and we look forward for this flight with you. Once the latest paperwork is completed, we will then start our engines and taxi out. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. Ground from flight deck? Yeah. Do you have the final figures? Yes, Captain. So 0 fuel weight 161.1, CG 26.6, and in here we've got 161.1/26.6. That's looking good, and that gives us a trim of 3.5 up. Okay, let's see about our weight. We are now at 226.7, and we had calculated 227. Okay, then we can keep our performance and call delivery for our IFR clearance. Skipple delivery, KLM 767 heavy information, Bravo request IFR clearance to Aruba.
One second while I grab the paperwork.
You literally have one job. You should have that paperwork ready, my friend. So, scheduled off block is in 1 minute. That means we are actually doing pretty well.
KLM 767. Information Bravo is current. Clear to Aruba via the Vola 3 Victor departure runway 36 left. Initial climb to 6,000 feet. Departure on 118.08, squawk 6452.
KLM 767 is clear to Aruba via Vola 3 Victor departure runway 36 left. Climb altitude 6,000, departure 118.08, squawk 6452. So, 6,000, 36 left, Vola 3 Victor.
KLM 767, read back correct. Ground is on 121.56, safe flight, sir.
KLM 767, please say again the ground frequency. So,
KLM 767, ground frequency is 121.56.
121.56, KLM 767.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard KLM Royal Dutch Airlines flight.
Okay, so the clearance is just checked, 12156 is active, then let's go for our pushback clearance. Now from flight deck, go ahead.
KLM
So,
31
confirm that the airplane is ready for pushback. That's confirmed. Alright, thanks, call you back.
Dominicana 599, a pushback approved.
Skipper ground, KLM 767 heavy, request pushback and startup.
KLM 767, pushback and startup approved. Face northeast.
Pushback and startup approved, northeast, KLM 767.
KLM 1575, request pushback.
Okay, ground, you can remove the ground power now, and we are clear to push. The parking brake is already released. Roger, start the pushback and stand by for engines. Stand by. Before start checklist. Park and brake, released. Takeoff speed and thrust. V1 159, VR 163, V2 166, flex 40. Windows are closed, and the beacon on before start checklist complete.
Cabin crew, all doors in flight.
Dominicana 599 are ready to taxi.
KLM Royal Dutch Airlines flight 767.
Dominicana 599, taxi to runway 36 left, via Alpha 12, Alpha Quebec, Bravo Zulu Victor.
Okay, my friends, and here we go.
Alpha 12, Alpha Quebec, Bravo Zulu Victor, Dominicana 599.
I gotta say, that was a very efficient pre-flight procedure, pushing 25 minutes into the video, but we've done everything.
KLM 905 Lima, contact tower on 122.1. Switching to tower, KLM 905 Lima.
Okay, so the pushback is probably going to be a little bit longer.
Taxi to the ramp.
I think he's pushing us in here.
Echo, taxi to parking via
But we'll see
Bravo,
about
Alpha
it.
10.
At least that is what the rule flight did. So since we do have a GSX profile for this airport, I think that the simulated one should probably do the same thing.
KLM 1575 ready to
The
taxi.
KLM livery is just nice to look at, isn't it?
KLM
And
1575 taxi to
I really don't know what it is, but in my head the A330 is a holiday airplane. It's just that most carriers I know that are operating it, maybe except for Lufthansa, are using it on holiday flights. So that's what I connect this airplane to in my head. Well then, let's go ahead and start the engines. So ground from Flight. We're ready for engine start in sequence 1 and 2. Okay, clear to start. Engine 1 starts.
KLM 1539 are ready for pushback. KLM 1539, push and start approved. Pushback and start approved, KLM 1539er.
Come on, 737, you better speed up, otherwise it's gonna get expensive. And it's not even the competition that we're wrecking here. Okay, that looks a lot better here. So, we've got a good start in number 1, we're starting number 2. Clear 2. It starts getting empty at the gates. I really hope we're not gonna have to wait for all of those guys at the terminal. Or rather at the runway later on. Not the terminal. It's late. And yes, I know the duty's just begun.
KLM 1539 are ready to taxi. KLM
But 9.5 hours flight time. With a bit of luck you might be doing this with 3 pilots. So, push completed, set your brakes.
Bravo, Alpha, Quebec, Bravo, Zulu, Victor KLM
Brake set.
1539er. WestJet 71 request pushback. Pushback approved, WestJet 71.
Alright, 2 good starts. Then please prepare the airplane for taxi. I see you with a clear signal on the left hand side, please, and have a good day. Bye bye. Okay, nothing in the status. No split steering disconnect is still
KLM 63 Golf, contact tower on 122.1.
Well, let's go non-standard over here and do the after start checklist already. Anti-ice, off, ecom status, checked pitch trim. 28% set. Rudder trim, neutral, after start checklist complete. So here's a tug, and that was a lifter. Now we're just waiting for the ramp agent. And there she is, and she's holding a pin in her hands. KLM 767, request taxi. Alright, clear signal is received. We'll do the flight control check when we're on the way. As the taxi is definitely going to be a little bit longer.
KLM 767, taxi to runway 36 left via Alpha 10, Alpha 22, Bravo, Delta, Whiskey 5, cross runway 18 center, then Victor 4. Okay.
KLM 767, takes the runway 36 left via Alpha 10, Alpha 2, Bravo, Delta, Whiskey 5, Victor 4. Okay, so starting with the ground shot over here. So we're gonna go out over here, and then they want us on Bravo. Perfect. But they want us to change by Alpha 22 over here. Okay. Bravo, Delta. Well, no, they want us on Bravo over here. I'm sure they do, because that is what they would do in the real world. Clear right side, clear left side, brake released. Essentially, the only thing that really matters with the taxi clearance in Amsterdam is where you are going to cross that runway 36 center. Okay, brake check, pressure 0. And we're clear on the right side. Lots of A330s over here, huh? Delta. Then that Neo over here, another Delta. I still remember when I flew to Egypt from Amsterdam once in real world, and I was standing up there on the visitors trays of the terminal over here, and I just looked at the terminal, and it was all full with Delta Air. Delta wherever you could see. Then you went to the other terminal, and it was all full with KLMs. It's pretty hard to read the ecam down here, but can't get it any brighter. And that's actually not a bug, that's a feature. Some airlines just dim them down so incredibly much that it really becomes hard to read those displays. Apparently it saves some lifetime of the screens, which are expensive. One of those screens easily 30,000-40,000 bucks. Some people buy a car from that money, others, well, buy a display unit for an Airbus. Okay, the right side is clear, and the left side is clear. Okay, no changes to the takeoff briefing. Then let's do the flight control check, please. Full up. Full down.
Ground,
Neutral.
Alpine 82 Mike Yankee, taxi to parking.
Full left.
Alpine 82 Mike Yankee, taxi to parking via Echo
Full
5
right.
Bravo, Alpha 15 Bravo, A19 west,
Neutral.
A19 east.
We can't really test the rudder, so
Echo 5
I'll just
Bravo,
leave it.
Alpha
I mean,
15
I know we
Bravo,
can turn, so
A19er west,
that's fine.
A19er east, Alpine 82 Mike Yankee.
Alpine 51 Charlie, November, request push and start.
Okay, cabin is ready. Then let's do the taxi checklist. Flight controls,
Push and start
checked.
approved.
Flight setting,
Alpine 51
on
Charlie,
take 2,
November.
radar and predictive wind shear. Are on and auto, engine start selector, norm. Ecam memo, takeoff, nope. Taxi checklist complete. Well guys, then let's speed our taxi up a little bit, because it is quite some way to runway 36 left.
KLM 767, Triple Tower, runway 36 left, line up and wait.
Line up and wait, runway 36 left, KLM 767. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. So, approach area is clear. Line up checklist, please. Takeoff runway 36 left full length.
Approaching 36 left.
Off. Line up checklist complete. And with that, we are ready to go.
KLM 767, runway 36 left, winds 340 at 8, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 36 left, clear for takeoff, KLM 767 heavy. Okay, are you ready?
Transavia 76, Lima. Winds
On
340 at 8.
runway
Runway 36 center.
left.
Clear it to land.
So, takeoff.
Clear to land. Runway 36 center. Transavia 76 Lima.
Reflex 40, SRS, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. Knots, checked. Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Enough. Checked. Man, this is a heavy airplane. But then again, Builds definitely needs to improve the initial pitch attitude, which should be 15 degrees, not 12.5, which is more like an engine out.
KLM 767,
Thrust decline
contact departure
1,
on 118.0. 8 over.
118.08, KLM 767. Skip for departure, KLM 767 heavy, passing 1,500, climbing flight level 60. Flaps 1.
KLM 767, skip for departure identified. Climb flight level 060.
Climb flight level 060, KLM 767 heavy. Okay, flaps 1. And flap 0. Speed checked. Flaps 0.
KLM 767, climb flight level 190.
KLM 767 heavy, climb flight level 190. One 9,000 blue.
Chanix 49er uniform Tango, contact Amsterdam radar on 125.75.
Okay.
To Amsterdam radar on 125.75. She is Chanix 49er uniform Tango.
So, here we go. That was a pretty enjoyable departure. And now look at this. We are basically just airborne. And yeah, we are already heading out to the ocean. By the way, look at this. You can really see how they planned their sit. We're going exactly over the harbor instead of going over the city. So, is that standard? Standard cross-check, passing flight level 3-1. Now, checked. Okay, lovely. So the rate of climb isn't all that good, but then again, with an A330 at this weight, that is definitely expected. I'm definitely going to keep the climb D-rate in as well, since engine health is a little bit of a topic with A330s these days, because it's very hard to get hold of spare engines. So the lower we can run them, even if the climb takes like 40 minutes or so, the lower we can run them, the better it is for the company. Yes, it uses extra fuel to climb at the lower rate, because we're getting into the higher levels where the airplane is fuel efficient later, but that's totally worth it. If you break one of those engines and it takes half a year to get a replacement,
KLM 767,
that's
climb
not
flight
good.
level 220.
KLM 767, climbing flight level 220.
Ryanair 216, Lima contact Amsterdam radar on 125.75.
So, looks like this might become a little bit turbulent here. Yep, it is a little turbulent. Imagine what it must feel like in an A320 or a 737 when a large airplane like the A330 is already rocked around like this. Definitely not something that you want to experience.
Contact Amsterdam radar on 125.75.
To be honest, the A330 is rather susceptible to turbulence, at least compared to other wide bodies like the 777, because the wing is just made to carry quite a lot more weight. So sometimes I'm really thinking, why would anyone want to go on holidays in the Caribbean when it's 30 degrees outside at your own beaches that you can just drive to with your car
Departure,
as
KLM
well.
83 Victor 2000 for 4000.
KLM 83
In
Victor radar
winter,
contact.
I'm the
Climb
first
and
one to
maintain
go,
5000.
but in summertime, let's just say you can have a holiday of a similar quality, a lot cheaper, and without the risk of any hurricanes approaching. I mean, I guess if you're in for the excitement... Alright then. Autopilot 1. I'm always trying to hand fly as much as possible.
Climb flight level 260.
KLM 767, climbing flight level 260. Flight level 260 blue. I'm always trying to hand fly as much as possible, just for the simple fact that you don't get to do too many sectors flying long haul anyway. So make good use of those that you have available. Think of it, you are doing like 3 to 4 trips per month, and then many of them will be with 3 pilots, so you're not guaranteed to even get a landing once per trip. So that means you do maybe 1 or 2 landings a month. Yeah, think of it. That's not a lot of experience. Alright, passing 100. Lights off, signs off. We can go for airports up here and up here. And then let's do clear and copy.
KLM over 94 Golf contact Schiphol Tower on 118.105.
Yep, it ain't gonna work when everyone talks over one another.
We are pleased to inform you that the
So, cruising 360, optimal 354, maximum 369.
switch on
That looks very good.
to ensure that they are in airplane mode.
Alright,
Enjoy
lovely.
the flight. Oh,
So,
and don't forget, our onboard
we
Wi-Fi
don't need that
service is
chronometer anymore. We've got the elapsed time running down here.
KLM 3 Victor, climb and
And with
maintain
that,
flight
we've
level
done about
100.
everything that we had to do. And with that, guys, I would say sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And I will get back to you when we start the approach
White
to
Rover
our
Hotel, climb
destination
and maintain
airport.
flight level 2.
Good afternoon, my friends. I hope you are enjoying the flight thus far. We are on the descent into Aruba and we are going to start our approach briefing momentarily here. So let's get ready for our approach. And I tend to say, I'll just quickly get you into the loop over here. So we're planning the ILS Yankee approach. Our start leads us right on to the final here, and well, maybe we can expect some radar vectoring, maybe not. We'll see about it. In any case, we are prepared. Now, let's go for the briefing. So we're following the standard arrival, the Scapa 2 Alpha for an ILS Yankee approach runway 11. The minimum is 270 and the go around is going to take us straight at and then intercept the air track towards Aruba, climbing flight level 40. And yes, that's a flight level indeed, so very low level off there. And we have to switch the altimeters.
KLM 767, cross IGROM at flight level 040.
Cross IGROM at flight level 040, KLM 767.
Address descent odds, flight level 40 blue.
Captain, cabin is ready.
Thanks. Okay, cool. We're below 100,
Ladies and
so
gentlemen, we are now
lights,
on our final
signs,
approach into
ethers,
Amsterdam, Aruba. Please turn off all electronic devices and stow them until we arrive at the gate. Kindly put
and
your
then
tray
we've
tables
got
away and
GPS
ensure
primary
your
high
sensible
accuracy.
upright
You can have
position.
TNCA runway 11 in here as well. And the mode selector is in norm. Right, then let's continue with the briefing, please. So extra fuel time, half an hour in the form of 2,300 kilos. Now for the approach, we're going to fly flight director guided ILS approach to runway 11. Maximum reverse and low auto brake. We'll vacate the runway at the last available exit, so that's going to be down here, 2,800 meters, and we'll vacate via Alpha and then taxi to the terminal. No hotspots for our taxi in, and I've got no specials, nothing non-standard over here. In terms of threats, we can possibly expect a couple birds in the area. The entire Caribbean is known for the bird populations we see in the areas. So if anything happens, we anticipate it, we check the instruments, continue the approach, and if we do indeed get an engine failure on the very final approach when we're configured already, just continue, land the airplane, and that's really all there is. Now apart from that, I've got nothing nothing special or non-standard, and nothing miscellaneous. Do you have any questions? No? Lovely, so that's our approach briefing completed. Alright, so flight level 40 is actually really a flight level. This time it's not a bug, my friends. That's how it works indeed in many of those countries. Now, remember, the ICAO standard transition altitude is actually 3,000 feet. And they are following that to the latter over here. And indeed, when you think about it from a European's perspective, take for example Germany. Our highest commercial airport is at 1,500 feet, and they basically put the transition altitude 3,000 feet above that, at 5,000. So that's how it works over here as well, but it just seems a little strange in the Caribbean sometimes, since there is just nothing around here, and then you have a transition altitude of 3,000, so you descend to flight levels like 040. But that's really how it works, so that's not a bug, that's a feature. Something that you gotta get used to, because it means that you have to do the approach checklist very, very late on the approach. But yeah, so be it. Wow, I actually see a bit of a cloud over there. Just one, but hey. Okay, in case you're wondering why the airplane is descending so slowly, we are currently on a geometric path descent. That's because the last waypoint we flew over, the Charlie Alpha 102 or whatever it was called, had a flight level 100 below restriction. So what the Airbus VNAV does is it takes you to that waypoint at the assigned level, and then it builds a continuous descent path to the next altitude restriction, or rather to the next hard altitude restriction. So in our case, that's Ovala, below 2,500 feet. So that way we get a continuous path, and assuming that our speed doesn't change, we would get a continuous rate of descent on that one as well. Obviously at some point we will start reducing our speed, so then the actual vertical speed is going to become a little bit less, but generally that's how it works. Okay, so let's take a moment here to think about if there is anything else we need to do, but I really don't think so. Something we could do is this. and this. Because the sun is getting low already. So let's
KLM
see.
767, descend flight level 030, turn left heading 195 vectors for the ILS runway 11 approach.
Descending flight level 030, turning left heading 195 for vectors to the ILS runway 11 approach. KLM 767.
Okay, heading vertical speed and heading 195, flight level 30 blue.
KLM 767, proceed direct, OMDR. Descend altitude 2000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 11 approach.
Proceeding direct. Bomb D8, descending to 2000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 11 approach. KLM 767.
KLM 767, confirm the QNH.
KLM 767, QNH 1010 set.
QNH 1010, KLM 767. Okay, set QNH. QNH 1010, cross check, passing 5100. Now. And that's checked on all sides. Okay. So, descend, nav, 2000 blue, approach checklist. Barrel ref, QNH 1010, seatbelts, on, minimum, Barrow 270, auto brake, low, engine start selector, norm, approach checklist complete. Right, 18 miles out, we're cleared for the ILS. So, Cath Dual, autopilot 192, glide slope, localizer blue. So far, so easy. So normally, I would just look up where the real airplane parked on Flight Radar 24. Just open up the track of the flight, zoom all the way in. But sometimes it's a little bit hard to actually find all of those, because the track is not always completely visible. In today's case, though, it is, and it parked on stand number 7. So we can already remember that and request that gate later on with air traffic control when we're actually vacating the runway. That's a little trick that I use to make things a little bit more realistic in my sim flying. Use Flight Radar 24, zoom all the way in, that way you can normally tell the exact departure and arrival gates that the real flight used. 1000 to go. Speed, vertical speed. So the final is going to be pretty short, just 6 miles. And here's our destination in sight. The airport, I think, is over here, where those buildings have spawned. Sometimes Flight Sim makes it too easy to find airports. You're just gonna look at where the scenery is. Right, so 13 nautical miles to run. Activate approach phase. First idle, open descent.
2,500.
The A330 just doesn't decelerate very well. For that reason, I'm putting it in an open descent rather than vertical speed. I think we might have to take some even more drastic measures. Speed, vertical speed 0. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. flaps 2. Speed checked.
KLM
Flaps
767,
two.
contact Beatrix Tower on
Yeah.
118.0.
Switching to Beatrix Tower on 118.0, KLM 767.
And the ILS did not capture.
Beatrix
Manual
Tower,
flight.
KLM 767. Good afternoon. We're established on the ILS approach for runway 11.
Okay, flight director's off, bird on.
KLM 767 Beatrix Tower, wind 080 at 11. Runway 11, clear to land.
So, flaps
Runway
3.
11, clear to land. KLM
Speed check,
767.
flap 3. Set go around altitude. Set. And set runway track 115. Flaps full. Speed checked. Flaps full. Okay, landing checklist. Come on, cabin, what are you doing? Eco memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. Okay, manual thrust. Checked. Oh, a little bit gusty over here.
Approaching 1-1.
Man, something is off with the pitch power values here. I should need something about 58% N1 or so, but whenever I set that, the speed is really going up.
Minimum 200.
Continue. So we're on the glide slope.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Spoilers, reverse green, decel. $70 knots. Manual brakes. All right.
KLM 767, welcome to Beatrix. Taxi to VOR DME at your discretion. Monitor this frequency.
No, we're not gonna taxi to the VOR DME. KLM 767, request taxi to gate 7.
KLM 767, taxi to gate 7 via Bravo.
The aircraft has just landed safely at Queen Beatrix International Airport.
Gate 7 via Bravo, KLM 767.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Oranjestad,
KLM
Aruba.
767,
We hope
Roger.
you
Continue
enjoyed your
taxi to
flight
gate
with us
7
today.
via Bravo.
Fun fact, Aruba is known for its stunning white sand beaches and crystal clear waters, making it a popular destination
All
for
right,
sunset
here we
and
are.
sports enthusiasts alike. Please remain seated until we reach our final parking position. On behalf of Captain Emmanuel, First Officer Stephanie, and the
So it's
entire
30 degrees, the flaps are gonna stay in position 1.
The local time is now 4:47 p.m. Thank you.
And
for
start
flying
AP,
KLM
please.
Royal Dutch Airlines.
Gate 7, please. I'll tell you what, it's actually Gate 1 that we're looking for. I confused the numbers looking at flight radar. KLM 767, request taxi to Gate 1.
KLM 767, taxi to Gate 1 at your discretion. Have a great day.
Taxi Gate 1 at our discretion, KLM 767, thank you. After landing checklist. Radar and predictive wind shear off. After landing checklist complete. Okay, Gate 1 is coming up on the left-hand side here. Lights off, please. Alright, so there is no marshaller, no nothing over here. Welcome to GSX. But well, then we're just gonna park ourselves. A330 anywhere down there? Yeah, last marking. Okay, this should be fine. Brake set and APU bleed. Waiting for it to show up on the ECAM. Here it is. Cabin True, Old Dawson Park. Lovely. So, engine spooling down, beacon off. Now they should disarm the slides. I think in the INI builds they do it based on the fasten seatbelt sign. So let's just flick that off as well. Okay, parking checklist please. Park and brake on trucks. Brake set, engines off, wing light off, fuel pumps off. Parking checklist complete. So, GSX, request deboarding, please. Come on. Oh yeah, should have changed this to Gate 1 when I noticed that I got the number wrong on flight radar. I'll show you why in a moment. Okay, so fuel, we used 59 tons basically. Let's compare that to the flight plan. We should have used 57 plus taxis of 57.7. Used a little bit more, like 1,200 kilos more, that's fine. Okay, cool. So, no ground power yet it seems. Then let's go down. Data position monitor. IRSs have been good, so let's turn them off. And, well, that's pretty much it. And now we would have had a marshaller. Okay. So that one was down on me. Well, my friends, and with that, welcome to Aruba. Now the plane is going to fly on to Bonaire before returning back to Amsterdam under the same flight number. But that's going to be all that I have to offer for you today. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I do hope you liked the flight. Leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.